I have an amendment at the desk, and may I speak
can
while
just-
it's being distributed in the interest of time?
Dr. Rowe reserves a point of order, and the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes to explain his amendment.
Thank you. We're talking about putting money into a kind of in a suitcase and delivering it to the school district to let them and giving them the freedom to spend it as they will. I sat on the Intelligence Committee for a number of years, and there certainly are circumstances around the world. Some people have read about this, or you've read about it in novels, where large suitcases of cash are delivered, and there's very little accountability required for that. Well, in the bill before us today, under the guise of flexibility, we have eliminated the requirements in current law that the funds be used explicitly for these subgroups that need special attention. That the money actually be spent on low-income and minority students, for example. And under this flawed proposal, states and districts would have free rein to spend the funds on arbitrary activities that have really nothing to do with closing the achievement gap. Now, the chairman has said that there's nothing in this bill that changes the program formulas. Strictly speaking, that's true, but when the money reaches the local district, if this were to become law, none of the money would have to be spent on the children that drive the formula, the reason we have the formulas. So I have a pretty straightforward amendment that I think, I would like to think, shouldn't be controversial. If a school district is going to accept this money and perhaps limit the help that's provided to the students most at need, or not, we would ask that they report on how the money is being spent. It would be, don't we wish that Brown versus Board of Education was never necessary? Don't we wish that Title I of ESEA was never necessary? But it has been, and it is. And so I think this bill is misguided from the start. But if we're going to have the bill, it really is a very modest requirement to ask that the money be accounted for. My amendment would require that states and districts who want the flexibility report on what activities are funded with the money provided. It would require that they report on which students benefit from the activities funded, disaggregated by population, so, accounting for race and ethnicity and gender and disability status and migrant status and English proficiency and poverty and so forth. And it would require that the numbers of students entitled to the funding in the first place by the formula be stated. So we know who gets the money, what it's used for, how many students get that money, and how many students are not getting the money if it had been directed under the formula. So without my amendment, we in Congress will not be able to provide oversight. So should this bill become law, we should want the ability to conduct oversight, and we would wish, I'm sure, that this provision existed in the law so that we could see how well the districts are using their freedom to look after all of the subgroups who lack privilege. I yield back my time.
Gentleman yields back without objection. The point of order is withdrawn. Are there members seeking recognition on the amendment offered by the gentleman from New Jersey? The chair then will recognize himself and point out that under the bill, There is a notification requirement to the Secretary of Education and to the states annually on June 1st each year that the schools are intending to use this flexibility. Under current law, states and school districts are required to report information on how they're spending federal funds, either through state or local plans, application processes, or other annual reports, and this bill maintains all current reporting requirements. So the gentleman's amendment just adds more paper on top of the paper, and I respectfully oppose the amendment. Are there other members seeking recognition? If none, the question occurs on the amendment. The gentleman from New Jersey, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. Independent chair, the noes have it.
Roll call.
And roll call is requested. I think, is that all amendments? Excellent. Having completed debate on the amendments, we shall proceed to